Hi, my name is Kaveh, founder and CEO of RiseAngle, and I will talk about business of immersive games. So if you are in any ways involved in developing and publishing VR and AR games, or you are thinking about actually getting involved in this space, there are many questions probably on your mind. The first one being, are we there yet? Now, yeah. And then if we are there, well, what is the best sector for us to focus, AR or VR? Which platforms, which genres? If we are not there yet, actually, when is the right time to enter the market? So I'm hoping at the end of my presentation, you get some insights to answers for those questions and can hopefully be a little clearer about the future. A little bit about us. RiseAngle is an immersive first game company. We incorporated in 2016. We have 4 games in the market. Our first AR game, Coin Billionaire AR, we recently released it for App Store. Our VR games, we have 3 VR games in the market. All of them are for the low-end VR, Oculus Go and Gear VR, and also World of Mazes, which is our most extensive IP. It's also an Oculus Rift, and we are developing it for other platforms, including non-VR. And we are looking into third-party publishing also this year. But a little bit before going to business, I just want to remind us why we are so excited, or we were so excited about this space, and what kind of games of future we are so excited to see. I mean, there are so many things we are excited about, but I'm just going to mention some of them. So we are excited to see games that actually let us go through our childhood stories and experience them and really live through those stories and have unlimited opportunities to end those stories. We are very excited about the world that it has so many immersive experiences that you can actually go and find like-minded individuals in the kind of immersive world that you like and play there. And we think we are gonna see a world that the world is gonna be one of the largest extended realities itself, with a lot of games embedded and a lot of gamification. And we think as actually the borders between the actual reality and this extended reality is gonna go away and these are gonna blend, we are gonna see more and more opportunities for actually make a living by playing games. And I'm sure that everyone here at least loves that. So there are so many stats in the market as far as XR and AR and VR games. They are going to become like this size by this year, etc. I'm not going to go through them. I'm going to just tell you what's the reason we are very bullish in this space and we think it's going to happen, and one of the main reasons. One of the main reasons is that we think AR and VR and XR are really part of the core business for large tech players, including Apple, Google, and Facebook, and they have to continue investing in this space. It's not like really optional for them. Giving Apple as an example, they're making money by selling smartphones and watches, and then now software, etc. And I can't imagine, or I'm sure they can't imagine a world that XR smart glasses become the main data entry point for you, and they are not really a part of it. So it's not really optional for them. Whether these XR smart glasses become something that it should work with your cell phone at some point or smartphone at some point, or actually replace them at some point, they have to be the forefront of that technology. The same goes for Google and Facebook and other big players for different reasons, actually. I'm not going to go through those. That being said, we are in very early days. So 2018 had just a few exciting improvements in AR and VR. One was actually mobile AR got a footing, obviously. And then introduction of a standalone VR headsets was an important thing from our point of view, specifically Oculus Go and Vive Focus and Mirage Solo. And for 2019, we expect to see a continuation of introduction of these standalone VR headsets. Specifically, we are very excited about Oculus Quest and also Vive Cosmos. And the Vive Cosmos, they haven't confirmed that it's actually going to be standalone. And we are also very excited to see how overall XR glasses thing or AR glasses thing plays out. We think that these glasses are going to be the future of XR and AR and VR, or very lightweight headsets. And we are specifically interested to see how Microsoft HoloLens 2 is going to play out, what price point, how much technology can improve there, and Magic Leap's content fund, how that is going to play out in this year, and if Apple or Facebook actually introduce anything in that space this year. So first, what are the challenges? If you want to be in AR and VR today, what are the challenges? Lots of platforms actually releasing content and shipping for a lot of platforms is a very difficult thing. Limited user adoption is still not there. Not enough headsets in the hands of people. Quality of hardware is not great. So when it comes to VR, it actually becomes a lot of motion sickness and friction. And when it comes to AR, really mobile is not the best form factor for AR. You really want to be hands-free. You want to interact with the world like that. And then it's not very clear what the killer use cases for AR and VR are. But why do we want to be in this space? These are rapidly growing markets. We are really in early stages, and by being first mover, you can gain some advantages that you can't gain otherwise. These are really pre-Angry Bird days of cell phones, smartphones, or pre-Farmville days of Facebook games. So there are going to be a lot of opportunities for people who are early. And is still limited presence of bigger budget competitors, really not too much quality content, which is an opportunity. And one thing that I would like to just pinpoint a little bit more is that you get higher initial visibility, at least in VR platforms. And that I find to be very important. So, for example, when you actually release a game in Apple Store or Google Play, the upside actually is huge, right? The upside is not there for VR yet. But you basically get zero visibility at the time that you actually release something. It's not the same thing. For many of the VR platforms, you actually, if you release a decent game, you are going to get some visibility initially. And that's important for actually testing, for validation, for actually sometimes organic growth, if you know what you are doing after that. So you really don't need a huge marketing budget initially, and that's an advantage. Another thing that I want to explain is that, okay, so how can we get a hold of this trend and how it goes? How do we know where we are? So there are a lot of tools that you can use, from App Annie to Sensor Tower to others, but one that I really love is Google Keyword Planner, and just giving you some data about the demand. And these are just search numbers, and you can see the trailing average search numbers based on different areas by using this tool, which is a tool that comes with Google AdWords anyway, so if you have used that one. And this is for example, I think we got this data in November, and this was the past 12 months search data, US monthly searches on average. And for example, at that point of time, you could see that Oculus Rift games had 12,000 average monthly searches versus, for example, Gear VR games that they had 2,400. And you could really compare platforms with each other. And you can also see the ups and downs and jumps. For example, you see Oculus Go games where they actually introduced, it had a jump in the number of searches, people were looking for it, and then it fell down. If you look at the December, it has gone up again. You can do the same analysis actually for genres. So, again, we did the same thing. For example, you see last year, when you searched for VR shooting games or VR horror games, they were much more searches for those compared to VR adventure games. But then again, pay attention to this. This is only the demand side, right? So if you want to see the opportunities or find the opportunities, you want to look at both the demand and supply side. You find, for example, you want to go to different platforms and see actually how many games are in that specific genre in that platform. And you can really drill down much more and look for all sort of demand data and compare it with supply side and see, first of all, how the market is moving, which platforms are actually growing, where are the opportunities as far as the game genres, etc., where you should enter the market with what kind of games. And obviously, it's going to take time to develop the game, so you want to predict to somewhat. But I'm going to explain about that a little bit more. So if I have just one thing out of everything else that I'm going to tell you here today, while we believe that there are a lot of opportunities in this space, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So it's not a really get-rich-quick thing that we create a game and we make millions of dollars today. There are actually games in VR that they have made millions of dollars, but there are just limited number of those games. And that being said, so you really want to have a vision for the long term. And for us, that means a few things. And then you could just do the same. So for example, for us, RiseAngle is an immersive first game company, not immersive only. It means from the day that we start a product, we think about how we want to bring that game later to mobile, to consoles, to PC, how we can license it to toys, to other things. So is it like, what are the possibilities? Also we design having that in mind. So we think about game mechanics from day one, from like camera, from avatar, no avatar, different things. It's just a matter of a few spreadsheets. And then that is going to save you a lot of time and efforts later. And then also another important thing is that these markets are evolving rapidly. The new headsets are coming as we go forward. So you really want to have a minimum viable product approach in mind. So you really don't want to go for very long-term development projects, because by the time you are there, actually the trending headset could have changed. So you really want to release something, get some data, build on it, build something else. And basically, for example, one of our games are actually the MVP for our next game. And our next game was episodic content, which actually the first episode could give us data as far as this is going to be successful or not, does it have raving fans or not, etc. Now, so if you compare mobile AR with VR today, where do we stand? So as far as the number of the devices is in favor of mobile AR. So it's like about 1 billion devices now, they are AR enabled, versus like when VR, if you exclude Google Cardboard, is about like 10 to 20 million headsets in the market. By far, mobile AR beats VR there. As far as fragmentation is also less. So it's like you are dealing with Google Play and Apple Store for the most part today, compared to more headsets in the VR side. But initial visibility for mobile AR is almost zero again. So I mean, unless if you get featured, which is a very unlikely event, or I mean, it's a game of chance at least, so you cannot predict anything. You are not going to get any visibility, which with VR, actually, with many of the platforms, you get some visibility to start with. Also, killer use cases are not very clear for AR games for us, but we have a strong case for killer use cases for VR games. We think that immersive interactive storytelling is going to be the future of VR and a killer use case for VR. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about that. So, we think that VR is the greatest medium ever created for storytelling, only second to books, and that's only because of your imagination, nothing more. I mean, nothing beats your imagination yet. So the thing is that it really takes use of all of your senses, from visuals, immersive visuals, to immersive hearing, haptic feedback, touch, smell, and they are not there yet, but they are gonna be. And this actually gives you a very strong way of storytelling and really taking people to story. Some people call it story living, to actually live through those stories, and actually gives you also opportunities for bringing empathy and compassion, etc., to games the way that you never experienced before. So World of Mazes, our game, our major VR IP, is actually an episodic adventure game. And in the second chapter of the game, we have a ghost character that has been ghost of a kid that has died ages ago and doesn't know that. And you really want to tell that ghost of the kid very delicately, and then actually also help that character. And that character alone has made people cry in our game. And that kind of power, that's something that you really can't get anywhere else. That being said, this is actually a very short video of that game, World of Mazes.
You must be the one in the prophecy. You must not die!
Splendid! You have the money.
Bravo! It worked.
So that's our first step toward immersive storytelling, which we think that's going to be the future of VR for sure. And we think that this is going to be a really like huge space, but we are a little bit a few years from that. And with that, I end my presentation. For us, actually, we are very bullish in the space in general. We think it's going to be there. We think there is a lot of first mover advantage to be there early. But at the same time, we think that we are very early. So if you want to be in this space right now, you have to find creative ways to survive in this space until that user adoption gets there, which actually it could gradually get there, or it could be just by introduction of an awesome device, or like an XR glasses introduced by Apple or Facebook at some point, be it like lower prices into the market that actually boost the whole traction, and adoption by a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.